Hey guys, okay, this is not a true live in the sense that um I'm not trying to do a live per se. I'm just trying to not have to record and upload a video. Which is why I didn't announce this. I just wanted to come and talk about a couple of subjects. All of you guys can hear about this later. It's early in the morning. I wanted to talk about the bombs that have been sent around to various Democrats and the whole immigrant caravan situation. Let me say this. I I'm not really buying the bomb thing. I do think that bombs were sent. I'm not going to go as far as some people are trying to go and say that this is all staged and this is nothing and da da da. I do believe something was sent, but I think Antifa did it. I honestly do. I don't know if anybody has said this, um, but I think Antifa sent all that stuff because those people are just nuts enough. They're just nuts enough to do so because right now, people on the right are pointing out the fact that it's the people on the left that are insanely, crazily violent and nuts. And except for the very extreme right, um, Republicans, who make up the most visible part of the right, Republicans tend to be very cool headed and pragmatic in their approach. So even if they do have a little hate in them, they're not about to act out like people on the left do. People on the left are just ridiculous. They throw things. They literally open their mouths and say incite violence and harass people. They're very dramatic and emotional. So there weren't a lot of rocks to throw at the right. So I believe that Antifa is responsible to just try to, prove that the right's bad too. That it's not just the left that is ridiculously violent and emotional. And so, yeah, I'm not going to take the route other people have. I'm just going to call it as I see it, which is I believe Antifa did it. They're the only people radical and crazy enough to do something like that. Now, I do think that there are some extreme uh, people on the right, definitely some racist people, things like that. But I think they're too smart to send bombs to all those people or packages masquerading as bombs to all those people. I think they're too smart to do that. That's the thing about the right. The left is emotional and they don't even care how they look because they know the majority of society is going to give them a pass. See, people on the right can't do that. That's why I know it was nobody on the right. So I'm positive Antifa is responsible for that. Now, and again, a lot of people aren't going to be here, you guys. This is less alive and more me just not wanting to record and upload because it takes much longer to record, render, and upload. That's like 3 hours if I want to make a 10-minute video. So I'm just taking a shortcut. I'm just taking a shortcut and doing it this way. I'm doing it lifestyle. So let's talk about the immigrant caravans. Oh, these illegals. So, I told you guys my family is very diverse. Um, and there is Guatemalan blood running through at least one of my family members. Okay. As in he's half Guatemalan. So, I feel I can talk about this without anybody accusing me of being funny. I just, how are you going to caravan and pass up all those other countries to come here? They're just passing up. I mean, do you know how many countries are between Guatemala and the United States? And they're just going to pass all those up and come here. And it looks bad. It looks bad to the left. It really does. You don't think so? Was Dylan Roof Antifa? Here's the thing. Here's the thing. It's not about Sorry, you guys. I don't know. I hate recording lives from my phone. It's more convenient for me because, but it's not the easiest. So, as far as Dylan Roof goes, that's neither here nor there. Here's the thing. I don't think right now, as many of those things that were sent out, that anybody on the right it doesn't help the cause. I mean, I'm not saying bad people on the right are better than bad people on the left. I'm just saying that they're smarter because people on the right can't get away with blatant. Can you imagine if a bunch of white Republicans was out screaming in people's faces and throwing stuff at Democrats? It would start a civil war. That's why no, nobody on the even most extreme right would do that. It was just too many. Had it been one, okay, you might have an argument. But for as many as were sent out, that overkill, that's a left thing. The left does overkill. You might get one nutcase on the right that does something. You might get them together to say some crazy stuff at a rally. But to do all of that, that's a Democrat move. That I don't want to say Democrat, but that's a far left move. And they are far more, liberal with their stupidity. They just really are. So I do believe it was Antifa. Because Antifa is the craziest group out there right now. They pretty much do whatever they want. Now, with that said, I mean, it's just my opinion. Blessed one, it's just my opinion. Again, not saying that people on the right don't do things. I'm saying this particular situation. Just this particular situation. We can play the what if game all day. We could point out somebody who's very extreme right. We can point out somebody that's very extreme left. I'm just talking about this one particular situation with the bomb threats. Just this one particular situation. Good morning, Virtuous One. I didn't address it in the live yesterday, but yes, I will do a video with links to supplies and information about home birth, just FYI. Hi, Asha. Okay, so here we go. Let's talk about the immigrant caravans. Now, everybody knows that I'm not against immigration. I'm against illegal immigration. So this should be common knowledge. And as I said, for those of you who didn't hear, it's interesting that it's Guatemala and Nicaragua that are immigrants that are coming here, because there is a person in my family who is half Guatemalan. So, and his father was a legal immigrant to this country. So, so I have, and this is a close relative of mine, like a very close relative of mine, not some distant relative. So this is what I'll say. I don't like, just to get back to what I was saying, I don't like, well, illegal immigration. I think most Americans should be against illegal immigration, blessed one, not just Black people, because we have laws. We have laws. So we're either going to have no border laws or people have to follow the laws. And I've talked in a previous video, you guys, about my personal dealings with illegal immigrants. First, let me say, in my real life, I've helped illegal immigrants. I'm going to tell you guys a story. I told this in another video, but I'm just going to take a break and I'm going to tell you guys a story so that you know that I'm not just talking about this because I watched a news show. So I attempted to get, good morning, Soda. I attempted to get a nanny. I've spoken about this a couple times, twice for my children. And the second time I had a Mexican nanny, and she was a legal immigrant. Now, during this time, I had a client, and he owned one of the largest SROs in San Francisco. And I was in trying to bring that hotel up to OSHA standards and kind of watching over his hotel manager because honestly, she was skimming money. All right. She was skimming money because a lot of the tenants paid in cash. Now this is a place that was funded by the Office of Human Capital. What's up, Gab? This was a place that was funded by the Office of Human Capital. We're just kind of getting sidetracked to address what Blessed One said about Black Americans being against illegal immigration and my argument that all Americans should be against illegal immigration. It was actually featured in a video on meth. This is how hardcore this single room occupancy hotel was in San Francisco. It was so bad that I would walk all the way back to my office just to use the bathroom. I hated being there. I never wanted to sit down. It was very, very filthy. And in this place, you had people from the HOT team, homeless outreach program would house people there. You had convicts that were housed there. You had just Department of Human Capital program funded individuals. And you had, like, because San Francisco is so expensive, elderly people, people who really couldn't afford to live elsewhere. No children. No children were allowed there. There was one illegal immigrant. Her name was Maria. It's a common name. I'm not making up her name. Her name was Maria. Cleaning a building with hundreds of tenants. And now, mind you, for those of you who don't live in parts of the country, no, Anne, I'm not done packing, unfortunately. For those of you who don't know what an SRO is, they have communal showers and bathrooms. This one didn't have cooking areas, so it was just communal showers and bathrooms, communal trash. And the room you stay in is like a hotel room without a toilet. And so one woman, Maria, by herself was cleaning this, but it gets worse. She hadn't been paid because the sleazy manager over there speaks Spanish and was pocketing money, and she wasn't paying her. Okay? Now, the hotel was filthy because you're talking about a hotel that has hundreds of tenants, single room occupancy hotel. People live there. They're tenants. And one woman trying to keep that place clean. One woman trying to keep that place clean. Now, my mom's company, not through me, put in a bid to bring that hotel up to OSHA standards. And let me tell you something, because people are always talking about, what do you do? My family is very proactive about hiring Black convicts, the poor in our community, very passionate about it. So I was doing the consulting on the hotel. My mom's company came in, which I sat on her company, obviously. You guys know my mom passed last year of cancer, but this story isn't that long ago because she got sick and died really quickly. This story is just from a few years ago. And we replaced that one immigrant worker with 15 ex-convicts. These are people that are hard to employ. They are hard to employ here in the U.S. Okay? So that one worker was holding 15 jobs, and the single room occupancy hotel that the woman was cleaning was filthy, giant rats and everything. Why? Because one woman can't clean that. But to be cheap, and because she's a person that could be taken advantage of, she was used. Now I'm going to take it another step further. Okay? She hadn't been paid to the tune of over $4,000. I personally went to the owner's office and said, you have an illegal immigrant working in your building, and she is owed $4,000. Her and her family, because they were renting a home. How? Because they're all illegal. I don't know. We're about to get thrown out on the street because this woman was scrubbing a hotel that was filthy, that she could never keep clean, and hadn't been paid in weeks. This is illegal immigration in a major city in the United States. This is people who want to baby these illegals. You don't help them and you don't help us. This is hundreds of American citizens in an SRO living in filth because one illegal was hired to do the work of 15 American citizens. This is the face of illegal immigration. When I talk about this, I'm talking about this from a perspective as a person who's in the trenches and deals with this in real life. Not my personal random opinion for some stuff I don't ever engage in. Let me give you another example, going back to my nanny. Okay? Going back to my nanny. So, my nanny was living with a man and she wanted to be independent. So I hired her as my nanny and I was like, you know what? We own a hotel in Berkeley and I'm pretty sure I can get you on the cleaning crew there, which I did. I'm not going to tell you the hotel because I don't want to give away all my clients, but or all my former clients, because as of last year, I don't work with these people anymore. I've left the state. Um, and so she got hired there. So thank you, Anne. I'm sorry I lost my mother too. That was pretty awful. Um, so she's working at this hotel, a major hotel. Think major like Quality Inn and Suites, Super 8, hotels like that, chains that you see all the time. Major chain hotel. This is the face of illegal immigration. So she comes to me and she goes, Irene, they didn't want to pay me my overtime. Now, mind you, she's Mexican. She's a legal immigrant, this woman, legal. They didn't want to pay me my overtime. But I went to the manager and I said, you're going to pay me my overtime. I've got my papers. Hear what I'm saying. This is illegal immigration. This legal immigrant had to go and fight for her overtime because every other maid in that hotel was illegal. And they make them work long hours and they don't pay them overtime because they're cheap and they could take advantage of them. And so this legal immigrant wasn't getting her money because she was Spanish speaking like them. And they just assumed she was illegal too. This is the face of illegal immigration. This is not about black or white. This is about being an American. This woman is a naturalized American and doesn't get paid right because there are illegals that she works alongside of who are being taken advantage of. And they have lumped her Mexican butt in with those illegals. I could go on with stories like this. So it's not about Black Americans not liking illegal immigrants. It's about this is a problem for America, period. It's a problem for the immigrants that come here. They get exploited. And I'm telling you this from first-hand knowledge. I have dealt with millionaire business owners. These are people who will send illegals in to clean up asbestos instead of a hazmat team in a building that American vets have to live in because they're cheap. I'm telling you what this is. So when we look at caravans of people coming over, just to get back to it, but let me stop a second and check out your comments. What is Antifa? And they say they're anti-fascist, which is ironic since they're fascists. Let's check it out. No, I'm not done packing, sadly. I hope to wrap up here because I have to pick up some more stuff. I need some bubble wrap. I'm going to do a literal, I have boxes from everywhere. I'm going to do a whole thing. Really, phone? That's crazy. Everything just came in. Bro, dirt, people peeing on the floors? Yes, it was like that. It was like that. Filthy place. Why am I in the dark? Oh, because it's early, y'all. It's a little interesting how state right is controlled, but the MGTOW movement comes for them. While living in San Diego, I've been sized up by too many times by racists and conservatives. In San Diego? Really, Darius? Because I've lived down there and I've never had a problem. I'm from California. I used to live there, so I'm pretty surprised. Very surprised by that. This happened before in Florida when the Cubans, yes, the Cubans did it too. The Cubans did it too. That's true. Let's keep looking. My condolences. I lost my mom exactly 6 years ago from cervical cancer. I'm so sorry. Cancer is a horrible way for people to die. I've really wanted to do a story time on this, but I know I will get emotional because it's only been a year. But that's literally the most awful thing I've ever experienced. And I can't imagine being the person that was ill, just watching it, just caring for her in hospice. It helped me grow as a person, but that was traumatic. You flap your wings, Trump chicken? I don't even know what that means. Is that how chickens clap? Hi, Omega. You almost intentionally hit a truck? Really, Darius? It seems both sides are emotional. I'm going to tell you, not so much. I see, this is the thing. The person with the cool head always wins. Okay, so let me not pick sides for a second. Where the right is smart is they manage to be cold-blooded without emotion. The left are like giant babies. They're out there in costumes, being handmaids. They're throwing flour on people. They're getting in people's faces and yelling. They're literally, even if you wanted people to be violent, it's real stupid just to be out in the open telling people to be confrontational. These are like the two women about the rape thing, barricading this man in an elevator and screaming at him. The left, they're literally like 2-year-olds run amok. The right, there could be some hateful people on the right, but they're pragmatic with their hate. They're wise with their hate. They're calculated with their hate. They're not just running around acting stupid. That's why I think these bombs were sent by someone on the left, the far left. That's why I'm blaming Antifa. Because it's too stupid. That much. Had it been one bomb, I would say it could be somebody on the right. Maybe two. 2 bomb scares. I would have been like, okay, that's some far right stuff. But the fact that it was so like, and then so obvious, CNN, the fact that it was just so many, you know what I mean? That overkill. Because one crazy, group or person on the right will just attack one place in big style fashion. The left does all this microaggression stuff in mass at one time. Now, you guys know I'm not on the left or on the right, but I'm just saying. Yeah. The way the situation is with the illegals and in this country, people just don't know. You have to be, I know a lot of rich people, y'all. I know a lot of people with money. I know how these people move. And I know how illegals are used. And only because they want to keep as much money as possible. They're cheap. They don't care about you. They only care about themselves. They don't care about the illegals. Nothing. And okay, so I got my bubble wrap from Penske Trucks. Not Penske. What am I saying? I got my blankets from Penske. I got my bubble wrap from Lowe's. Lowe's is the place to get boxes and bubble wrap and stuff. They have the highest quality because I've purchased boxes from Lowe's, U-Haul, Walmart, Home Depot. I'm telling you, I'm going to do a moving box review. And the best quality moving products, the thickest boxes, the most durable bubble wrap is from Lowe's. Home Depot sells crap. And U-Haul, the only U-Haul boxes I find that I really like, because their boxes are not very thick and durable, are the picture boxes. And they deliver those to your house. Those picture boxes, I love those things. Because I have really large art on my wall, and those things are a godsend. Let me see. I'm trying to catch up. Because I want to get to the illegal caravan, but you guys know how I am about your comments. That's why maybe I couldn't handle a big chat room. I would feel bad not dealing with everybody. Hi, Captain James T. Kirk. Hi, Bro Dirt. Bro Dirt was unhappy that he got timed out the other day. Was it you, Bro Dirt? I hope I'm not confusing with somebody else. I think it was you. No, you didn't get timed out. People thought you were a troll. Our president hires illegals to work at his golf clubs. Does he? I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he has. Because that's how rich people move. I didn't get to see. I got timed out. Illegals need to go. Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to the caravan, right? Because I talked about my opinion on the bombs, but I just want to hop out to the caravan situation really quick. So I just feel like the audacity of these people. How are you going to pass all those countries on the way to the United States and come here and by the thousands? By the thousands. And this is sort of what the Cubans tried, because here's the thing. When you have the numbers, it's hard to turn that many people away. But this sort of like mass bullying, I mean, that's how the world works, right? That's democracy for you. This is why I like a republic. This is my problem with democracy. Democracy is just a way for a whole bunch of people to get together and force other people to do things they don't want to do. It really is. I agree with you, Anne. We shouldn't let one illegal in when we have homeless vets on the street. This is real. This is real. We have to take care of the people that are here before we get on the illegal bandwagon. I'm just not with this. I'm just not with it. Oh, blessed one, no. No, no, no. Everybody knows I'm not about blocking people. I don't care if we don't agree, y'all. You guys know I'm not here to, you don't even have to thank me. That's so sweet of you, but you don't. I am not here to censor your thought. Like, we don't have to agree. It's better that we don't agree. We can sharpen each other in our disagreements. The only thing I don't like is I don't like when people get violent or too over the top. It's very rare, but I will block people for that. But just because we disagree or somebody is using strong verbiage or something, not that you did, bless one, you didn't use strong verbiage, but I'm just saying, just when those kind of things go on, that stuff is totally okay. Like, I want everybody to feel comfortable bringing themselves to the table, at least in my spaces. We're not here to all be fake with each other and pretend that, we just believe everything the same. That's not the real world. Well, Omega, we're not going to kill anybody, but we need to enforce our laws. They keep coming here because they get to come. Now, let me say this. I am for a borderless world. I feel that all human beings should be able to travel around the earth as they wish. This is our planet. I don't think that we need to be controlled to the point where I just can't get up and go to where I want to be on my own planet. But as long as we're going to have laws and order, we have to follow them. This whole cherry picking what laws we're going to enforce and not enforce, that part I'm not with. And I'm not with the exploitation of illegals here in this country. And like I said, how it affects Americans. When I can pull 15 Black people who are ex-convicts who nobody wants to hire and replace one illegal immigrant with 15 American jobs, that's a problem. When there are hundreds of American poor living in a building that is filthy because one illegal immigrant is cleaning it versus a team of skilled American workers, there's a problem. But for just on the strength of it, I just prefer a border-free world. It's my preference. Good morning, Darius. Go to the plantation. Bro Dirt, yeah, we don't have a need for immigrants anymore. That's true. But you guys know that I advocate selective legal immigration, where if we have a need for a skilled type of person, that we give preference of immigration to those people. I do believe in that. How to humanely turn them away, Ratchet? Ratchet Rick? Okay, here's the thing. I'm not a very politically correct person. Do you know what I'm saying? We don't have to shoot them down so that they stay away from the border, but I'm for criminal charges. I'm for it. And people know that it's going to be a prison sentence followed by deportation. That you're going to be separated as a family. Because I don't have any mercy for those people being separated from their kids. Because you know what? American citizens get separated from their kids all the time when they break the law. I think we just need to take a strong arm to it so people know we're not playing games around here. This live might cut off and I might have to come back because I haven't quite figured out how to make this work on my phone. Let's see. This is going to be an experimentation moment for us all. Let's see. With free, let's see. They should be allowed to get welfare. They shouldn't be allowed to get welfare. Heck, and I don't even think that legal immigrants should get welfare. You can't come to our country and live off of the system. I think, and I've talked about this in a previous video, even as legal immigrants, there should be a cap on the amount of welfare they can get. You shouldn't be able to get it. Maybe 6 months to a year, because I understand sometimes people are unemployed. I'm not hardline on welfare. Because the reality is like real life happens. People leave abusive situations. People become unemployed. So I'm not against helping the poor. But if you're a legal immigrant here, there should be a cap because we can't just have, people that can't support themselves coming into the country. And if you're illegal, you should not get crap. There should be no benefit to you being here and breaking the law. Like never. Please don't attack the people in my chat, Red Pill Creator. Yes, because we don't kill them, they see us as soft. No, we don't have to kill people, Omega. You're starting the wrong kind of revolution, okay? We don't have to kill the illegals to keep them out. There are some people that might need to go in this world, but I don't know that it's the illegals, y'all. You guys play too much. Let's see. I'm looking at your comments. Exactly. I got a buddy from Spain off the coast of Africa. I forget the name of the islands, but he's learning English, got his visa, and is working his tail off to keep his family. Yeah. Legal immigration is fine. But as far as getting in a caravan and just wandering over here and thinking you're going to push in with numbers, because people are human beings, I'm just not that politically correct, y'all. I'm just not. I'm not, because what? Then every time 4,000 people get together, they're going to be able to get into the country? We can't turn them away because there's a whole bunch of them? These kind of games we're going to play? That's not going to work. I can never keep up with the chat. Wait, I think I finally caught up. Dion, is that how you say your name, Dion Watson? I'm just not against stopping social welfare. I feel like people talk about stuff that seems like in theory, but like the reality is real life happens. We live in a capitalist society, and because we live in a capitalist society, there will always be people who are underemployed. Most people on welfare are working poor. The way the system is now, you can only be on the program for a set number of years. You can only get cash for a set number of years, and you must work or they kick you off. Our welfare laws are very strict right now. People don't realize. But you know, whoa, hold on. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out. It's so different doing this on my phone. Yes. What do I think about Russian women coming here to have babies? I think this. I think if a man is desperate enough to bring a woman into this country, then good for the woman, right? Now, what I will say is in some of these situations, the women are treated very poorly. In some of these situations, because there's an imbalance of power. But I think, everybody has a hustle, right? A man wants a woman that is, and I'm not saying this is the case for all people that do this, but I definitely know several men who are married to women who are, um, who they found in other countries. And what I will say is this, in the situations I know, the women are treated very well. Heck, one of these women has more designer bags than me. She got herself a rich man. Um, and another one, she's treated pretty well too. But then there are cases when they're not treated well because there is an imbalance of power. So I really don't have a problem with it. If you can get your green card and he can get himself a wife, I don't have a problem with it. I just have a problem when there's exploitation going on. And the elite, yeah, I'm not with the elite. You guys know. The ultra rich, I don't trust them. They're evil people. They'll have us all down here fighting over race and political party and all this stupid stuff, have us caught up in dumb stuff while they really are doing damage. Welfare to work was a good thing. And I agree, welfare to work was a good thing. I completely agree with that. Drug tests for food stamps, Ratchet Rick? Absolutely. Here's the thing with the Department of Human Capital. If you sell out and you start dealing with the Department of Human Capital and using their welfare programs, I'm like, well, then it's fair game. They already infringe on all kinds of your personal rights. That's why when you're in public housing, they can enter your home without a warrant. Because, and we can go into just how many personal rights you lose. That's why in the welfare system, they can start pulling things on you without your permission. They can request information from you you otherwise wouldn't have to give. They can put all these stipulations on you because you're taking something. So if that's the case, yes. Drug tests for food stamps. We could do all kinds of stuff. The laws we could make for people on welfare would be endless. To weed out people who have no business being on the system, but leave it open for individuals who are truly going through something. Because sometimes people just need that help. Because this is the real world. And any of us in this chat room can end up on the streets. Any of us in this chat room can end up with little to none. Like, this is not, you know what I mean? Like, none of us is immune to being poor. And people have to think about that when they're trying to take a hard line on these social welfare nets. It could be you. We get a holier than thou attitude. And, I'm just not for that. But like I said, I'm not on the left and I'm not on the right. I'm not either one. So earlier, people said I sounded like Fox News. But I don't know how. We just have to make sure the kids aren't left behind while enforcing, yes, Ratchet Rick. And that's the thing, there are children. We need to enforce the laws, but we cannot leave innocent children. It's not children's fault what the heck is wrong with their parents. I'm mad. The Chinese fly here legally to have a child and then go back home in California. California is a debaucherous place. You could do pretty much everything. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people who don't like to be told what they can and cannot do or say by laws or people in authority. Fortunately, there are people who still do. Yeah. Some people are complete anarchists. I'm not an anarchist. Like, we do need some order. It will always be children who suffer. Mm. Captain James T. Kirk, if you bring Russian women to the States, if she applies for welfare, the bill goes to her husband. And here's the thing. When we talk about welfare, welfare is something that typically can only be gotten if there is an absent parent. If there's an absent parent, it's literally, I don't want to misquote the wording, but we could get into this one day. We could look heavily into welfare and what it is and what it's indicative of. Because there's a lot of ways to skin that cat if we really wanted to get, if we really wanted to get into it. We can control our own future. How are the ultra rich really affecting your life? Most people can afford a good life, etc. If you stay on the right path, you'll succeed. Ratchet Rick, I'm so glad you brought this up. Okay. I am still preparing to do something on slavery. So Ratchet Rick said, we can control our own future. How are the ultra rich really affecting your life? Most people can afford a good life. So, etc. If you stay on the right path, you will succeed. Here's the thing, Ratchet Rick. We are slaves. Now, because we live in a Western country, we are slaves of Europeans. And what I will tell you is this. Europeans have perfected the art of peonage. This could go by many names: peonage, indentured servitude, slavery. We could tack any label on this we want. One of the keys to keeping people oppressed and to preventing civil uprising is that you give them what they believe is a good life. You make sure they're distracted. You give them entertainment. You allow them to bury themselves in debt, because really we don't have anything, most of us. Pretty much everyone, if there are any of you in the chat room that own a home, you don't have a home because you have anything. You took a loan out for that. You really have nothing. But they give you the illusion of comfort, because a satisfied slave is an obedient slave. I ate today. I was able to be a little entertained. I have a car to drive. You know, in the peonage system, in the hacienda system, one of the hallmarks was that you could get a horse or a mule from the wealthy hacienda owner. You could have homes and land on the hacienda. You are a peon. But there was a little comfort in that. The best sort of slavery is the sort of slavery where the slave is comfortable. Comfortable. They know, Ratchet Rick, that people think like that. They know that if you don't let people feel like they're comfortable, you get civil war. You get poor people. And make no mistake, if you're making $100,000, $200,000, you're still poor. You're still poor. People talk about, I make six figures. No, you're a peon. You may not be as low on the totem pole as the personal welfare, but no, you know what you are. Don't be confused. So yes, Ratchet Rick, how are the ultra rich affecting our life? Let me answer that part of what you said. They use our bodies for their wars. Their wars for power and resources. They use our bodies for that. They use our bodies for their production in the prison system. They use our bodies for their medical experimentation via vaccination, prescription drugs, things like chemotherapy. They use our minds for psychological research via the internet, which watches you while you use it, via television. They have us committed to a system of vehicle of barter, so that they can be propped up. You can't even travel through your own city freely. Think about this. Your cities are designed that you can only take the roads to go. You couldn't say, I just want to walk diagonal now. You can't even leave this country without permission. Let me tell you how they're affecting your life. You can't even travel through the world without permission. They could tell you you can't leave. You can't move freely on the earth. You can move freely in the area that you're owned. And they will decide if you can go anywhere else. I could go on and on about how our lives are affected by the fact that we are slaves. The ultra rich control everything. Look around you. Just walk outside and walk around your city. None of that has anything to do with you. Even in the way that you operate when you are making your so-called independent decisions, you're operating within the system they tell you can operate in. You follow the rules. We are free within a controlled system. All right? That hamster in that elaborate cage, you know how some people build hamsters a crazy elaborate cage so they don't go crazy? Is free in his cage. He's free to do whatever he wants in the cage. But let him try to get out the cage. That's about as free in our decision making and free in the control over our future that we are. We are as free as a hamster in an elaborate cage. As long as you stay in the cage and only play the games in the cage and only travel down the tubes in the cage, you are free as a mug. Now try to get out, because the house is big. And outside the house, there's a big world. And outside the city, there's a big country. And outside the country, do you know what I'm saying? Cage upon cage upon cage. Because we're so focused on our personal little hamster cage, we think we're free. Very confused. I dare you to try to move outside of your confined space, and you'll discover how free you really are. Why you keep talking about, when you say ultra rich, the billionaires and millionaires are just normal people like us with more money? Good for them. They're not evil. Win-O. You think that if you want. You think that if you want. I believe they're normal people like us, because we'll be wicked as hell too if given the opportunity. But I don't think there's anything normal about wanting control over a country's natural resources and sending a bunch of peons in to risk their lives so that you can expand your power. When do you do that? When do you, Win-O, get millions of people together to go get killed so that you can have the house next door? Okay, so Win-O, the day that you go get 40 kids to go slaughter the homeowner next to your house so that you can take over their house, we can talk about rich and poor being the same. The minute you take toxic chemicals and dump it in your neighbor's well so that you can build a machine and just watch their kids die because you've polluted their water, we can talk about rich and poor being the same. When you start making psychotic moves in this world and just killing and massacring and exploiting people along the way, when you block up a water supply for a whole community so that you can make Coca-Cola, and these people have to drink polluted water because all of their natural water is owned by your corporation, we could talk about rich and poor being the same. We could talk about it then. We could talk about how similar we all are when some of that stuff goes down. Don't give these people too much credit. Did you not hear me tell you that I worked for a rich man that sent poor people in to clean up asbestos. We're not the same. I would never risk somebody's life to save a buck. Oh, never. We're not the same. We're not the same as those people, trust me. Those people, not all of them, not all, it's never all, right? But enough of them are crazy as hell. They're insane. Don't defend rich people. They're not going to defend you, I promise you. They don't give two craps about you. They don't care about you. They only care about each other. We often like to cape for people who will throw us under the bus if the time comes. Let's save our capes for people. Let's save our capes for people who need them. These rich people don't need our capes. Black people have been systematically disadvantaged. Ratchet Rick, why are you making all the good comments? Black people have been systematically disadvantaged and don't have the same opportunities. We can't just over-regulate Black people out. I don't know what you mean by that. Terrell, I'm fine, thank you. I know I'm behind in the chat. Let me try to catch up. Am I a populist? Timothy, you missed the beginning. I missed the beginning. The title is Antifa Sitting Democrats Bombs. Why would they do that? Why would they do that, Timothy? Because they would do it because it would look like extreme right people were doing it. And right now, it's only the left that's getting all the heat for acting like a crazy person. When it's only, crazy people that are doing it. It's only left that are nutcases, trapping people in elevators, throwing stuff at people, getting in people's faces, screaming and hollering, being violent. It makes perfect sense. They need it to look like, the right is crazy too. Look, some people on the right are crazy. I was just saying earlier, they're more controlled with their craziness. One of them will get out of hand and do something stupid, but you see, the right is very careful. They're very careful about how they handle people they don't like. Whereas the left, they just run around like crazy people. They just run around just doing ridiculous stuff, like wearing costumes and getting naked and putting pussies on their head. Do you know what I mean? Like, they do extreme stuff like that on the regular. That's all I was saying. The right, they will talk to you calmly and then stab you in your back. They're more calculated with their stuff. That's why I said I think Antifa did it. Because for all the, how many were sent out, y'all? Can you even count? It was too many. It was just too over the top to be anybody on the right. The right might do one crazy thing. They're not going to do 50 crazy things at once. Now, when has that happened? Name one time the right in 1 or 2 days has done 50 crazy things at one time. They don't move like that. You might get one crazy incident out of them every once in a while, but they're very, very careful about how they move. They might do some diabolical stuff, but they're going to be very careful about that. Only Antifa would do some stupid things like that. Yes, but have a tangible plan to regulating is better than hoping. Ratchet Rick, you and your comment, you're like my favorite commenter right now because you say the stuff. The secret to how the rich stay rich is they invest and buy what brings profit like assets. Perhaps so, Soto Nation. Perhaps so. I think the secret to how the rich stays rich is that they are willing to sacrifice their humanity. That's how rich people stay rich. I promise you, that is how rich people stay rich. They're willing to sacrifice their humanity. I'm telling you this from dealing with several wealthy people for a decade and watching them and how they move. They are willing to sacrifice their humanity because there comes a point in the money-making operation where you have to only focus on pragmatism. Rich people are pragmatic without humanity. And any humanity you see from them is for show, because they know that you expect them to be humane. But it's just an act. That's how rich people stay rich and get richer. If you want to be rich, be ready to be pragmatic without humanity. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. A willingness to not give a crap about anybody but your dollar, and to make moves that are solely based on your dollar. And if some people get trampled along the way, they just get trampled. That is how you get rich and stay rich. Because if you're humane to everybody, you can't make money. You can't be profitable. You can't be profitable paying everybody great salaries. Your Aston Martin is never going to be in the driveway if all your employees make $35 an hour. If you use the top-notch materials for everything, if all the ingredients in the foods you sell are high quality, you'll never make any money. You will never get rich like that. If you're unwilling to pollute something, you can never have a factory. You need to be willing to pollute the water supply, the air, and everything around. Or you could just never do mass production. Rich people have to not care to some degree to become rich and to stay rich. Am I a religious person? I'm Christian. When, there are no secret people behind the scenes controlling us. No, they're not behind the scenes. They're open with their crap. These rich people don't give a crap these days. They're not behind the scenes. They're over at their Bilderberg meeting openly discussing what they're going to do with you. You know, I'm going to tell you how deep this is. I know where our country's going right now. How I did that live yesterday, I will do a live where our government, they know y'all aren't going to read these documents. All this stuff is public. We can go to government sites and they have maps, color-coded charts and graphs. They don't give a gosh darn. They tell you exactly what is up. Nobody is behind the scenes when, oh, you're right. Nobody is behind the scenes. And when you say nobody is giving you anything, how do you buy a house if nobody is giving you anything? Huh? How many of you have credit cards and nobody's giving you anything? How do you buy your car and nobody's giving you anything? Y'all paid cash? Tell me, you guys paid cash? Nobody's giving you anything, Winnow? All that's happening are people are giving you things. You wouldn't have crap otherwise. You would have nothing because you have nothing. One person in the chat, if your debt got called in right now, every penny you owe, every credit card, every student loan, every car loan, every home loan, do you have the money to pay for that? If all your debts got called in today, you can cover that and still eat? But nobody gave us anything? Are you kidding me? You wouldn't survive in life without a handout from the wealthy. They give you handouts because you have nothing, because slaves have nothing. Slaves own nothing. You own nothing. You have nothing but the clothes on your back. Everything else was given to you. You might be lucky if you personally paid for the meal you had this morning. But for most of the things that we feel matter, how many of you bought furniture on a credit card? Tell me. Nobody gave us anything? Right now, you can go and have the money to buy a home, a car, and support yourself, but nobody gave you anything? We have to tell the truth, y'all. We have to tell the truth about this life. Yes, Stockholm Syndrome, Derek. They are in love with their servitude. Delusional. Don't be delusional, people. Like, if you want to be a slave, I'm not against it. Derek Williams and I are supposed to be doing a collab if we can ever get it together. If you want It's like that information I gave you guys last night. You don't have to free your children. Look, I'm not trying to sell you, and if you want to be safe, if you are happy with massa, if it doesn't bother you, look, do you. But we can have an honest conversation, y'all. We could do that. Now, we don't have to sit here and pretend with each other. We could at least have an honest conversation. For real. Now, we don't have to be delusional. We don't have to be delusional. I've seen a lot of poor people with lack of respect for humanity. I'd actually say I see more people. Oh, no, no, no. No, Ratchet Rick. Let me tell you something. I love your comments, but let me tell you something. Here you go. When you are on either extreme of the spectrum, when you are too poor or too rich, you become evil as hell. Let's have a real conversation about this. When you become too poor, you have nothing to lose and you don't give a damn. And when you become too rich, you have everything to lose and then you don't give a damn because you're not about to lose everything to be human. You're not about to lose anything to be good. You're about to keep what you have. And when you are too poor, you have nothing. So you don't care about anything. It's all us people in the middle that have some semblance of sanity. But when you're too far on either extreme, you know, the Bible says, Lord, do not make me too poor that I would steal to beg. I am ashamed. Do not make me too rich that I would forget you. That's what the Bible says. The two extremes. Ratchet Rick. That's why you see poor people acting base. Because they're on an extreme. And I tell you, see, the thing is, you have more access to the poor people. That's why you're speaking about them. But I've had access to the poor and the rich. And I'm telling you, the rich are equally base. The fact that they are base in a nice suit, in a nice house with a nice car doesn't make them any less base. Because the people on the extremes of these spectrums have issues. They have issues. We can agree to disagree on that. We can agree to disagree on that if you want. No, Ratchet Rick, you are right in that we choose our slavery. That's why I did that live last night about the Social Security number. That's just one thing. We choose our slavery. Ratchet Rick said that's self-induced, Irene. Being a slave is not an option. No, 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 no. It is an option. It is an option. Do you know what an indentured servant is? They optionally chose to become an indentured servant. It's calculated slavery. And every American and every person in this world, because all the countries operate the same, you guys. They almost all operate the same. They have the same, Social Security system. They all have different names for it. It's the same system. This system has been perfected in the Western world. They have perfected this life. And you choose your slavery. That's why people are so in love with their slavery, because they chose this. They're choosing it. Y'all just happily send your kids to their schools and choose to let your kids get indoctrinated. You choose to take their loans. You can choose slavery. Right now in our country, millions of people have chosen to be slaves. There's some poor slaves, choose to give up their rights for a welfare check. There are some delusional slaves that think they're rich, that chose to be slaves for a position in life, for a house, for a car. Oh, we choose our slavery all day, every day. All day, every day. Let me tell you right now. Have I ever heard of Yvette Carnell? Yes, I have. I've watched a couple of her videos. They don't give us anything. What do you think a loan is? What is with you people? They don't give us anything. They loan you money to pay them back with interest. It's beneficial for both parties involved, is it? Is it beneficial? Let's talk about it. Is it beneficial for both parties involved? If they don't give you, what is a loan? What is a loan, y'all? A loan is giving somebody something. Look, you have to listen to what you're saying. What kind of cognitive dissonance are we having right now? They don't give you anything, they give you a loan? Are you listening to yourself? The mental backflips you have to do to make that make sense. I'm just saying, Winnow, I want you to think about what you're saying. How is your being in debt? Listen to this. You know what the biggest hustle is? The smartest hustle is to be a bank. You want to put your money into something, you got some little change? Be a bank. For every 10 cents in your bank, you're able to loan out $1. You don't have to have the dollar. You just have to have the 10 cents. How is them giving you money that they don't even have and then making you pay interest on money that doesn't even exist doing you a favor? There's only one winner there. And let you play games and not give them their money, they will take your tangible asset. Help me understand, Winnow, how that is mutually beneficial. It is a good, it is smart as heck. But seriously? We're really gonna act like we're really gonna sit here and act like yo, we have to have an honest conversation. We have to have an honest conversation. They loaned you something that doesn't exist and then they make you pay them back real money for it. Hear what I'm saying? They've got 10 cents. I've got 10 cents of real money and you're going to give me $1 plus interest for my real 10 cents. Come on now. Come on, people. Let's have an honest conversation if we're going to have a conversation. Like I said, these rich people don't need you to cape for them. They don't need our capes. They don't need them. Natasha Dean said the government would crumble if everybody stopped taking out loans. If you guys just walked away from the system right now, a lot of businesses, a lot of businesses loan money to make more money. They are not slaves. You can also loan money to get a degree or start a business. First of all, let's be clear. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. I said in my stream last night that if you want to incorporate yourself, that is a clean hustle. A business is not a human being. Okay? We got to separate the two. See how this wordplay has people confused? What a business does and what happens between a private party, a flesh and blood person, is those are two different things. You can't enslave a darn business. You can enslave people. That's why your person needs to be free. And if you want to deal with the IRS, and if you want to deal with corporate America, you deal with it as a business. Okay, Winnow? Do you understand what I'm saying, Winnow? The two things are not the same. Now you're jumping topics, right? You're jumping topics. A business and a person are not the same thing. How businesses make moves, that's not how human beings can make moves in this world. Natasha is so right. The extreme amount of bloated debt is why we have perceived wealth in this country. But our country is owned by the IMF because we don't have anything. Anything. Nothing. It's like an allure. It's like an illusion. It's like a mirage that you can feel and touch. But it's not real. This is a game. You guys don't realize we're all playing a game? You don't realize we're all playing a game? Oh, I'm the only one that knows that? Well, Ratchet, Rick, and Win-O, I respect that you two are sticking to your guns. Like I said, we don't all have to agree. You can play the game through your lens, and I'll play it through mine. Everybody has the right to make that choice. You know what I'm saying? Everybody makes that choice. 20 trillion and counting, yes. The debt is outstanding. The money doesn't even exist in the world. It's crazy. It's crazy. You Americans are enslaved, everyone else is free. Oh, Royal, you are very confused if you believe that. The last time I checked, nobody can leave their designated plantation without permission. The last I checked, every westernized country in the world has something like a social security number. The last time I checked, almost every country in the world is owned by the International Monetary Fund. Us Americans are enslaved and everybody else is free for real? Oh, heck no. We could do a whole live on how all of these countries are ran just the same. Our leaders are friends. Just imagine the world as one big southern plantation. And all these plantation, as like the South in slavery. All these plantation owners working together. They might, the plantations might have different names. The slaves might have different levels of privileges. You have to be crazy if you think the Americans are the only ones. We're not. We're not the only ones that are slaves. We're all slaves. And watch when countries try to break out of slavery, like Venezuela did, without a plan. Like they're trying to do in Africa without a damn plan. The United Slave Owners Federation of the world makes life miserable for these runaway slaves. Can it be done? Yes, but it can't be done as an island. We could have a whole conversation about this. We could. They are literally blowing up the Hangouts. Why? I'm sorry for all that beeping. It's one of these panels I was on. But it comes to all of us when they talk. He said the Americans are enslaved, but everybody else is free. See, but that's when you're delusional about your slavery. You make comments like that. Like, I respect the fact that you commented, Royale, but no, you're a slave too. If we can't identify our own slavery, that's a problem. Like I said, if you want to be a slave and you're comfortable in that, because you feel your life is decent and good, and so there's no reason to escape from anything, then that's fine. But what I really advise is that you not. The free people are in the jungles, yes, but you know what, Omega? They seek out these nomadic people and they try to convert them. They start taking them salt and gifts and clothes. They will leave no slave unobtained. They are searching out these random people in the jungles. They search them out. They're not trying to have anybody free. Nobody. They're not playing. They're not playing. Okay, well, Ratchet Rick, if you're free, go try to cross the border without permission from your owners. You're so free. Just try to leave America. Try to leave America without permission from your owners and see how far you get since you're free. That's just a simple thing. Just try to move freely on the earth because you're free, right? You should be able to do what you want to do. So try to want to cross a border without express permission from your owners, and we'll discover how free you are. We'll discover it. But yeah, you know, abide by U.S. laws. That doesn't make you a slave. Here's the thing. That's why I use the example of trying to leave the country. Abiding by laws of civility would be freedom. I agree. You know, we all agree as free people, we're not going to kill each other. We're not going to be stealing from each other. That's freedom. But I can get up and leave and do what the hell I want. Okay? I'm tired of being in this part of the world. I've decided I want to go somewhere else. And I don't have to ask permission to do that. That would be free. You're convoluting two separate issues. Having laws of civility to keep things organized and civil between free people is one thing. Being told where the hell you can go and what you can do and what kind of moves you can make is another. Like I said, you are free in your cage. You're free in your cage. You can do whatever you want inside of your cage. And if that is freedom to you, if you believe that to be freedom, then you know what? In your mind, you are free. Ratchet Rick. I have a loose definition of slavery. I have an accurate definition of slavery. He used the word bound. That sounds like slavery, Derek. Yeah. Natasha, it's okay to be quiet sometimes. There's no daily word quota. Natasha is a mess. I mean, it's okay. Here's the thing, Natasha. I'm patient because I know like this mess runs deep. It runs deep. When a person is indoctrinated every day of their life from birth to think a certain way, you know what I mean? That thought process runs deep. It really does. And like I said, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with people who choose that lot in life. That is your choice. That's your choice. And for the record, Ratchet Rick, I'm not even trying to change your point of view. You're sharing your beliefs with me. I'm sharing mine with you. We don't have to agree. We don't have to. Jonas said the law restrains you from being free. That's why the law is in place, to keep us restricted. That's true. What is a law? If not to restrict a behavior or choice. That's all laws are. Tell me that's not what a law is. Right now. That it's not specifically designed for restriction. This is what I'm saying. We have to have honest conversations. It's okay for us to be honest about this and still stand firm in our belief system. But, you know, we have to have the honest conversation. Not having absolute freedom doesn't equate to slavery. What does it equate to then? What does it equate to? The very definition of freedom is absolute freedom. That is what freedom is. There's no degrees to freedom. You're either free or you're not. Like I said, we can choose to make moral agreements. But the thing is, we choose to make moral agreements among people. But when you are not free to make certain choices, when there's a list of choices that you can make, and then anything off that list is not a choice you can make, you're not free. My children are pretty free in this house, but they're not free. They have a lot of freedoms. See, you're getting two things confused. You can have various freedoms or you can be free. When you have freedoms, there's a list of things that you are allowed. When you are free, you just do what the hell you want. Freedom is absolute. What are we saying here? Freedom is absolute. If it's not absolute, it's not freedom. It's something else. If you don't want to call it slavery, call it something else, but don't call it freedom. Right? Like I said, we have to have an honest conversation. We can't play word trickery. Let's just have an honest conversation. That's all I'm saying. No, Stephen, because technically, y'all, I'm still in bed. Y'all don't need to see me. So funny. That is crazy. I mean, it's interesting how we all interpret. Why must we pay for insurance on a car you paid money for? Last real one, that's a good question. Let's talk about that. Last real one said, why must we pay for insurance on a car you paid money for? Because you drive that car on roads that you don't own. This is an if-then society. You don't have to have insurance on the car. But since you can't get in that car and drive freely because you don't own anything, the person who owns the roads that you have to drive that car on says in order to use our roads, you need insurance. And since there's no freedom, there aren't roads that aren't owned by the slave owner. Therefore, you buy insurance. This is how this life works. You're on a hacienda. This land is not owned by us. It's owned by our owners. And since you're traveling on somebody else's land, you must follow the rules. The freest thing you could do is walk. Okay? Let me tell you. You can barely do that freely. Try to walk in the wrong place and see what happens. Try to be free for a day, y'all. Just try it. Just try to be free for a day and see how that mess backfires. You will quickly discover you have very little freedoms. Just try to do something different. Like I said, do some silly stuff. Try to walk in a diagonal line and see how free you are. Do you know what I mean? You know, you take some money, you buy a car, but you can't drive it without insurance because your free butt is on a plantation and you don't own the land. You must follow the rules of the owner. There are degrees to freedom. I don't know. I must be behind in the chat because I literally said there aren't degrees to freedom. There are degrees to this life. You're free or you're not free. There are no degrees. Well, yes. Well, no, I did say I'm not an anarchist. And I didn't say there shouldn't be rules. I said free people can agree, have moral agreements. Free people can have moral agreements. But that's the thing is you're agreeing to them and you can withdraw your agreement at any time. Free people have to have moral agreements. The thing is, if you start as a free person, if you withdraw your agreement, people may not mess with you. You may get known for being a person that can't honor their word. But there's a difference between us having a moral agreement and moral standards and not having choices. There's a difference. So no, I'm not an anarchist, per se, but I believe in self-governing and consent. You know what I mean? Self-governing and consent. A lot of bums do feel that they are free. And it's why some of us are into anarchism, let alone autonomy, because we're tired of people telling us what to do. Yeah, I think it's the principle of it, Audio. You know what I'm saying? It's the principle of the thing. Some people think like that. I know some people don't. It's hard to understand. But some people think like that. It's not even always about wanting to do something. It's about knowing that you can't. Knowing that the choice doesn't exist. I may never want to cross a border. But knowing that I can't is a problem. There's a whole list of stuff I may never really want to do. But if I should decide to do them, I should be free to do that. That's all. Yes, bums can get arrested. Here's the thing, though. I could do a whole series. I think everybody should take an arrest and firearms training course. If you do nothing else, take some police courses. That'll help you understand how to avoid any shenanigans with the police. Ratchet Rick, but if I can, then my caravan would get through. Listen, but we don't live in that society. You weren't here for the first part of this conversation. I don't believe in borders. But if we have laws, we must enforce them. We can't have it both ways. You're either playing the game or you're not. We're either going to have these laws or we're not. If they can cross borderless, I better not get any flipping slack from any cop or bank or government agency for anything I do, because we're either going to have laws or we're not. This little sideways stuff I'm not with. And you can't be in this room asking me to follow some laws, but then other people don't have to follow laws. Like, we're going to follow these laws or we're not going to follow these laws. For all this confusion, like, nobody has time for that. But with that said, you guys, yeah, take a police course. I'm telling you, take at the very least an arrest and firearms training course. One, it'll allow you to carry a weapon. Okay. Two, if you take some of these police courses, you don't have to want to be a police officer, but anybody can take them. I have. And it will tell you how you can, it will help you understand how to engage with police authority. It's very important that people understand that. Bye, Anne. Yeah, y'all, I have to pack. I can't be talking to you people. I came on here to talk about one. You guys have me sidetracked. You guys have me. No, what do you mean, Ratchet Rick? If there were no laws, I would be able to be anywhere expressing anything I wanted. You make no sense. Laws don't give me freedom. Laws restrict my freedom. I can't even, with like the level of confusion of your mindset is like crazy to me. Laws don't afford you freedom. Laws restrict your freedom. Laws are for restriction. They're not presents. Okay. Laws aren't gifts to you. The heck? I can't with this mess. I cannot. I cannot with this. Rick, don't say I'll get hurt. Now, if you're going to get actually ratchet, I'll block you. Don't do that. Okay. People opposing my views will be able to hurt me? No. People can only do to you what they allow. For all you know, I'll shoot somebody. Let's have a real conversation. First of all, don't bring up me getting hurt, because I am firearm certified and I'm pro-gun, and I would dare somebody to play with me. That's what I would say. So be very careful about how you speak in my chat room. Be very careful. Very, very careful. But with that said, you guys, I really do have to pack. I came on here. I plan to keep this under 30 minutes. Oh, San Francisco, I do block people. I just very rarely do because I don't mind dissenters. Like all of the people who subscribe to my page don't agree with everything that I say. We don't have to agree. I like and appreciate this exchange of ideas and beliefs. I think that is very important that we understand how other people think and believe things. Because at the end of the day, y'all, we all have to share this planet together. People are too obsessed with trying to convert people over to their mindset. They're too obsessed with that. And I'm not about that. But I have blocked people. I do block people. Like some people are very extreme with theirs. And I do have to block them. But it's rare that I will do it. It's very rare that I will do it because I'm just not about that. You know, I don't feel the need to do that. I hear you, Ratchet Rick. I'm just saying. When people start talking about the possibility of my person being hurt, I take that seriously. I don't even like innuendo. You know, somebody told me once, like, if men stop protecting women, I would be the first one to get raped because I'm a sexual object. I had to block that person. Don't talk about me getting raped. Like, what the heck? What are you saying right now? Once I don't have male protection, I'm going to be getting raped in the street. Like, that's a crazy comment. Now, was this person saying that he was going to do this to me? No. But see, I just don't like crazy comments. I just don't. I don't even like that being put in the air. That's kind of where I draw the line. You know? Oh, San Francisco, I have a gun. If anybody trespasses on my property, I'm going to shoot them. I'm 5'3". I'm a woman. Don't come onto my property. I have no trespassing signs. You trespass, you're likely to get shot if you're a threat. Absolutely. I'm pro-gun. Everybody knows this. I'm more than pro-gun. I think there's all kinds of levels of weapons we should be able to have. If you watch my channel, you'll know that. Audio, you'd be surprised. That's why I had to take down half of my content. That's why I said I had to start a Patreon so that I could put up content that I want to put up because I have some serious trolls. And unfortunately, I used to have a channel that was more open and expressive of like my life, like on the whole. But I had so many trolls, I had to take down that stuff. I had to take down, you know, we were talking about this last night. A lot of things where I introduced you guys to my family, stuff like that. I had to, you know, I had to let that go. I really did. Sassy Snacks. Why does your name have snacks in it and you're talking about eating something? I like bacon, y'all. So don't talk about outlawing eating pigs. Now that might start the revolution. I'll start a personal revolution. A personal revolution. So with that said, you guys, I am out of here. And I have to get on with my day. My lives starting in about 5 days or so are going to be very interesting because who knows where I will pop up. Who knows where I will pop up. But I wanted to come on and talk to you guys. And I'm glad that you guys showed up and we had an opportunity to talk and all of that. And so, yeah. Yeah. And Ratchet Rick, I know you want my attention, and you see I don't mind giving you my attention. But, you know, I didn't mind giving you my attention when we were having a conversation. Since you just want to be kind of ridiculous now, it's less stimulating for me as a person. I found you more stimulating when you were making, you know, at least from your perspective, what were sensible arguments. So, with that said, I am going to go and I will talk to you guys a little bit later. And yeah, I'm not sure what my next video will be on, y'all, but I'll try to make it. I've been giving you guys some kind of chill, lazy videos. I'll try to give you guys something a little less chill, a little more interesting. It's hard though, y'all. I'm exhausted. I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.